let's go with example 2 of using the method of matrix to solve for this system of linear equation. In order to set up the augmented matrix for this system, I gotta make sure that each of my equations is in standard form. But only the second equation is in standard form and not the first one. And of course, recall that the standard form is a number multiply the variable x plus a number multiply the variable y equal another number. So it's supposed to be, x, y, and then equal something. But over here, I got y and x, and it equals something. So all I have to do is that switch places of these two to convert the first equation into standard form. So that means my first equation will be 5x minus 8y equal to -3. And of course, bring the second equation over minus 16y equal to -6. So with these two equations in standard form, I can go ahead and set up my augmented matrix, whose dimension is 2 rows by 3 columns. So respectively, 5 and 10, -8 and -16, -3 and -6. So to reduce this augmented matrix down to the reduced row echelon form matrix, I want to make sure that this number and this number becomes +1, and this number becomes 0. So how do I do that? Well, if I take a look in this case, I think what I can do is that I can just go ahead and convert this +10, into a 0. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to have to take, make it a little longer. I'm going to take row number 1 and multiply it by -2, and then taking the product of these two and add it to the second row in order to reduce the number 10 down to 0. So that means what? Well, since I'm taking row 1 to do the multiplication by -2, that means row 1 stay the same. So 5, -8, and -3. Since row 2 is being added, that means row 2 will change. So let's see, -2 times row 1 means -2 multiply every number of row 1. And then we just add respectively vertically to get the new row number 2. So -2 times 5 is -10. -10 plus 10 is going to be 0. -2 times -8 is +16. +16 plus -16 is going to be 0. -2 times -3 is +6. +6 add to -6 is going to be 0 as well. But hey, this is odd because we got 0, 0, and 0, and anything multiplying 0 will be 0, and 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. So in this odd situation, I have 5 times x minus 8y equal to -3. And remember that this is the x column and this is the y column. So that's how I got that. But for the second equation, I got 0x minus 0y equal to 0. So why is it that I go from having two equations to only one equations? Well, in order to know what the solution of this system is, since the matrix method got me down to having this equation and this equation being all 0 anywhere, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my original equation, and I'm going to try to use another method instead to see if my suspicion is really true. And my suspicion is that this system of linear equation either has no solution, meaning the graph will have two parallel lines, or they will have infinitely many solutions, meaning I'm going to have exactly two identical equations. And when I graph those two equations, they actually overlap each other everywhere. Okay, so my equation is 5x, minus 8y, not plus, equal -3. And I got 10x minus 16y equal to -6. I'm going to confirm, I'm going to reduce, I'm going to convert each of these equations into the y equal mx plus b form. So for the first equation, if I subtract 5x to both sides, and for the second equation, if I subtract 10x to both sides, that will mean what? That will mean my first equation will be negative 8y equal negative 5x minus 3. And second equation will be negative 16y equal negative 10x minus 6. So to convert each of these equations into slope-intercept form, in the first equation, if I divide everything by negative 8, and in the second equation, if I divide everything by negative 16, my first equation will be, when a negative 8 cancels out, so I'm left with just y equals negative 5x over negative 8. That's going to be positive 5 over 8x. Sorry about that. And negative 3 over negative 8, that's going to be plus 3 over 8. And then my new second equation will be y equal negative 10x divided by negative 16 is going to be positive 10 over 16 times x. Negative 6 over positive 16 is going to be, negative 16, my bad. Negative 6 over negative 16 is positive 6 over 16. But looking at these two fractions, the 10 over 16 can be reduced down to 5 over 8 times x. And second fraction can be reduced down to 3 over 8. But guess what? These two equations are exactly identical. And because of that, when I graph them out, let's see, this is let's just say this is 3 over 8, the y-intercept 3 over 8, and the slope is up 5 to the right 8. So maybe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the right 8. Something like that. You guys can go ahead and graph it on Desmos.com. And you guys will see it, okay? But with these two equations being exactly the same, that means I'm going to have two lines overlapping each other everywhere when I graph it out. So that means the solution to this system is actually infinitely many solutions.